Well, in today's Explainer, we're going to fix that. We're looking at a powerful mathematical framework to completely cure your burnout.
Look, it is so easy to feel stuck when the road is this long. Acknowledge that feeling because it's completely normal. But we actually have a mathematical cure to keep your motivation running absolutely red hot. Rather than just staring blindly into this 20 or 30-year void, we're going to break the journey down into highly specific, achievable wealth milestones. And the best part? These milestones adopt entirely to you, no matter what your income, your expenses, or your savings rates are.
To really show you how this magic works, I want you to meet our test subject. This is our doodle hero, Manny the Mutant. We're going to map out a 20-year chronological wealth-building journey for Manny, and we'll watch exactly how compound interest entirely transforms his life over 2 decades. But before we get to the magic, let's establish Manny's exact baseline numbers so we can see the clear, unarguable math behind his journey. We'll assume a gross annual income of $50,000. And just to be super conservative here, we'll say he never gets a single pay raise over this 20-year period. His annual living expenses are $30,000. He saves a highly disciplined 25% of his gross income, which comes out to $12,500 a year. And finally, we'll assume his investments earn an annualized return rate of 8%. All right, so that brings us to milestone number 1. Your money outsaves you. Fast forward 9 long years into the journey. Manny's been putting his head down, saving, investing, and his portfolio value crosses $156,250. Now, this isn't just a random big number. This represents a massive psychological shift that happens simply by staying disciplined for those first 9 years. And here is why that specific number is a total game changer. Manny is sweating it out, manually saving $12,500 a year through pure discipline. But his portfolio, earning that 8% return, is now generating more than that completely on its own. His money is literally out-saving him. And you can calculate this exact target for your own life right now. Just take your annual savings goal, let's say it's $20,000, and divide it by your expected return rate, like 0.08. That gives you $250,000. Boom, that's your first milestone. But don't stop there. You've got to use the excitement of hitting that milestone to pour gas on the fire. Let's keep this train rolling right along to milestone number 2, covering your expenses. What is literally wild about this next step is the sheer size of the portfolio Manny reaches at year 15. By keeping that investing momentum going, he crosses $375,000. Just think about that for a second. He's only 15 years into this journey. So why is $375,000 the magic number here? Well, remember Manny's everyday living expenses? They cost him $30,000 a year. If you take his brand new portfolio value and multiply it by that 8% return, it earns exactly $30,000. Manny's money is now acting like the ultimate side hustle. It takes absolutely zero physical work, 0 hours away from his weekend, which is the absolute dream, right? And it completely replaces the cost of his everyday living expenses. Want to find your own magical expense replacement number? The math is just as simple. Divide your actual annual living expenses by that same 0.08. The result you get is the exact portfolio size you need for your money to effortlessly pay for your baseline life. Okay, I want to pause for a second because we really need to appreciate the mind-blowing math happening here. Notice what just happened to our doodle hero. To reach his first milestone, it took him 9 grueling years of discipline. But to jump all the way from milestone 1 to milestone 2, which is a much larger financial leap, it only took him 6 additional years. That is the pure, unfiltered magic of compound interest at work. As your pile of money gets bigger, the time it takes to reach the next milestone just shrinks. And that brings us to the ultimate chronological stage, milestone number 3, replacing your income. After 20 years of unyielding hard work and discipline, Manny hits an absolutely staggering portfolio value. He crosses the $625,000 mark. Honestly, for someone making $50 grand a year and never getting a single raise, building over $600 grand in 2 decades is an incredible feat of endurance. But here is the absolute kicker. What happens at this exact number? His income at his day job is $50,000. Now look at his portfolio's passive income at an 8% return, $50,000. This is truly unbelievable. Manny's money is literally working harder than he is right now. It's acting as a completely equal second earner in his household. His investments are bringing in just as much raw cash as his hands, his back, and his brain are. To lock in your ultimate income replacement target, just divide your current gross annual salary by 0.08. That final number? That's the moment your money completely replaces your day job. Now let's step back and look at the full 20-year chronological journey. Just look at those shrinking time gaps. 9 years to hit the first milestone, then just 6 years to hit the second, and finally a mere 5 years to jump all the way to the third milestone. When you're just starting out, 20 years feels like an absolute eternity. But because of this compounding snowball effect, the earlier you start, the faster and faster the back half of that journey is going to go. All right, let's transition a bit to speeding up the journey and a highly necessary reality check. Now, please hear me loud and clear on this one because this reality check is absolutely crucial. We used an 8% rate of return to measure growth and calculate these milestones during your wealth building phase. But when you transition to the actual retirement phase, like when you are actually living off this money day to day, withdrawing 8% is incredibly risky. To reach true financial independence without running out of money, you need to rely on something much closer to a conservative 4% safe withdrawal rate, which means your portfolio actually needs to be significantly larger if you're only safely withdrawing 4%. So definitely keep that in mind as your ultimate end goal. So how do we speed all this up to actually reach that bigger end goal? It really comes down to two things entirely within your control. First, increase your savings rate. It's simple math. Stashing more cash away earlier makes the compounding happen way faster. Second, you have to have a rock-solid plan. We highly recommend using the Financial Order of Operations, or the FOO plan. This system guides you so you know exactly what to do with your very next dollar, ensuring every single dollar has a job to keep you sprinting toward these milestones. So I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. What step of the FOO are you currently on? But more importantly, I challenge you tonight to pull out a calculator. Take your annual savings and divide it by 0.08. Find out exactly how many years you are away from your money outsaving you. Are you going to be the one working forever, or are you ready to put your money to work?
Freedom isn't given, it's built, and it starts with what you do next.